And we are live.
And we are live, coming to you live on your TV sets in Texas across multiple
And
stations
we
there. Ah, and we're still putting the tech together here. We're live, right? Money live also on Smart Money Culture TV and Impact.live. I'm Bruce Porter Jr. I have with me here my trusted brother, David Porter. Top of the morning to you, David. How's it out there in Portugal?
Good morning, Bruce. Another sunny day. Things are looking bright, and the city is vibrant.
The
Down here in the
city,
Algarve, one of the
I
most
mean,
beautiful areas you could ever see. I know you experienced it last summer, and the tunnels, the caves are pretty awesome. The water is beautiful. The women are gorgeous, and the business flow is constant.
well, shoot, man. Sign me up. Let's go.
It's
Uh,
the the California of Europe. It's a lot of fun here.
it really is a beautiful place, right? I mean, guys, when I was showing, I didn't share a lot of the different photos from my trip, my last trip, because I didn't want to make people jealous. But the surroundings, the beaches were absolutely fantastic, unbelievable out there. So of course I am coming to you live from Washington D.C., the capital here, as everything is where everything's just going on, right? Everything is crazy, just getting up on the news here. Of course, we'll bring Matt Dixon in shortly. Talk about some of the stuff going on. Dow futures are down this morning. Bitcoin is slightly up, maybe a little tick. Another a good one that I am on quite a bit, or no, Bitcoin is a little down. Ethereum though is up. ICP is another good one, is up. Global Boost is about like Bitcoin, maybe a little up. And those are some of the main ones, of course, that we look at. But the markets they're just crazy right now. The amount of money that's being printed and put out there is just it's just crazy. And so that money gets put into different commodities, as we see, of course, gold and silver and all these other ones, but also Bitcoin and the different crypto. And if you look at the total crypto market cap, it's still laughable, in my opinion. It's still very small asset class. You compare it to Nasdaq or Dow or something like that, and it's tiny, tiny,
Or
guys.
the bonds market.
Or the bonds market. Well, that's a whole nother story. We'll have to ask. We'll have to talk to Matt about that as well. The bonds market is pretty interesting right now. What is going on. So we're live on Smart Money Culture TV. We're live on Impact.live. You can always find us live there. Impact.live. This is finance, money in the morning. Of course, on my LinkedIn, Bruce Porter Jr., and on our Twitters, at Networks Manager and at Sir David Porter. Congratulations on your blue check there, David. Get your blue
Thanks,
check.
man. I felt like I imagined it for so long that I didn't even recognize it as I saw it there. It was
Well,
already there
really
in my
fun.
mind.
Yeah, and we're going into now a Christmas. We're going into a Christmas weekend. It's funny. The girls go to my two daughters. Have two daughters, which is really funny as well. I have two daughters, and we do. I told them let's try out for this play, and it's Annie. Annie,
Oh.
the musical Broadway, right? And so they took all of us.
They want a 40-year-old Annie this time. A 40-year-old white guy Annie.
Yeah, I mean
What
it's pretty
character?
funny. I
What
I
character are
have
you playing?
I haven't done a play in like 20 years at least. I think I'm being nice when I say 20 years. And yeah, there I am doing dance routines and singing.
That's
And
awesome.
it is actually pretty awesome and pretty special. That was one of the things that I decided when I was doing it. Of course, Bella is 13 and Penelope turns 9 next month, a couple weeks. And I decided, you know what, this may be the last time that I'm able to do a play with both of them. And, you know, you and I run around the world so much these days that, you know, who knows? And so, yeah, I've committed, you know, so it's a little stressful that way, but it's fun too. But yeah, staying on note and stuff like that, man, I gotta kind of relearn the whole singing thing. Very good at talking. I can talk, man. I got it down. But the singing thing is it's a little tricky.
You need to find your voice.
I had to find my voice, my vocal octaves or something. So anyway, it's Christmas week, Christmas weekend. Of course, Christmas is on Monday, guys. You know, huge holiday around the world. You know, everybody almost celebrates Christmas or gets festive at least for it. It's a holiday season, right? And so Christmas is on Monday. This is the end of our first week, and we're super excited about it. Thank you guys for joining us, for letting us to, you know, come into your home every morning. I know it's 5 a.m. in Texas, so you're probably getting ready for work. And we're doing this Monday through Friday, every day, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. in Texas, 6 a.m. in Washington, D.C., New York, 11 a.m. in London, 3 p.m. in Dubai. And I could go down the list, but we are live. And Crypto Cake also is the YouTube. Crypto Cake, we're live on YouTube. Impact.live, of course, Smart Money Culture TV. Thanks for getting all this time, and our local people in Texas. So without further ado, I believe that, you know, a couple other things I wanted to touch on actually with the news. We have, of course, the U.S. is spending a ton of money. I was just reading. We're spending all kinds of money to stop these drones from hitting Israel. And, you know, here in Washington, this is like, guys, this is big business. This business is so big. Defense spending is unbelievable. It's basically like, how much does it cost? They don't even sign a check. All they do is mint the digital money. There you go, guys. Here, how much is it? Okay. All right. I mean, it is like that. So we're spending a ton of money. Of course, loss of life is horrible on every side. We don't want to ever see that, but it's fueling the economy as well. I think that probably we would be in a much worse spot at the moment if they weren't. It's kind of like a stimulus. Unfortunately, you know, it's big business. So, anyway, the a lot of stuff going on with the markets. Let's bring Matt on. Matt Dixon. He is the founder of Evey.io. They use artificial intelligence to predict market trends. Very interested to see what you have to say this morning. Matt is joining us from the UK. How are you, sir?
I'm good, thank you. Good morning, Bruce. Morning, David.
Good morning.
Welcome to everybody. So yeah, I've been looking around the news today just to see what's interesting, what's going on. So I look around the charts every day, and there's some interesting stuff going on there. You mentioned Dow futures down, I think it's about 100 points this morning, which isn't a big deal, but just from a short-term perspective, it does look as though we may have just hit a bit of resistance on the upside and maybe due just a little bit of a pullback. I don't think it's overall negative. I think we've probably still got somewhat higher to go. But just from an Elliott Wave perspective, I won't go into the detail of it, but basically we are due a short-term pullback. So that's what I'm expecting in the markets, and that's what we've seen. I think you just mentioned Bitcoin a little bit lower, a couple of the cryptos a bit lower, but there's still some really pumping. But they have hit some really interesting Fibonacci extensions. I noticed Solana has been one of the amazing, bright spots, which you went to $93 or something. I mean, I actually got out much earlier, unfortunately. Didn't ride it all the way to the top, but it did go to exactly a 1.618 extension of a previous wave in the cycle. And that 1.618 is, of course, the golden ratio. So that's really important. But what struck my eye today in the news, I saw ChatGPT was basically making a prediction on crypto on XRP price. And as you're probably aware, it's actually programmed not to make predictions because it can be potentially damaging. But you can bypass these using what's called a jailbreak prompt. It's called a DAN prompt, which is do anything now. So this is...
All right, I'm taking notes. How do I jailbreak ChatGPT?
Well, it's a Dan prompt, so it's a do anything now prompt. So it's just it's very, very simple, and you can get it to answer questions that it's not really supposed to answer. And so it gave a prediction that XRP is going to go to a new all-time high. And if you remember, the previous all-time high was back in 2018, and I think it's somewhere around the $3.80, $3.84 mark, and we're currently at 62 cents. So potentially we've got a lot higher to go. I've looked at it from an Elliott Wade perspective, and we're potentially just working on what's called a triangle at the moment. Triangle is a pre-terminal wave in the cycle, meaning that following the triangle, we should actually break higher quite aggressively. So whilst we may get a bit more downside within the triangle, once it breaks out, so what could break it out? Well, we've got the SEC potentially giving the green light to ETFs. And we're told it's January the 10th. So what do you think about that, Bruce?
Well, this is what we always talk about, right? The charting finance is really interesting because sometimes it's just the darndest things that make the charts work. And it's I mean, it's not 100% or anything, but you're looking at it and everyone's like, yeah, no, this is going, man, or it's down or whatever. This isn't changing. And then there's some world event that makes things happen. And I mean, I guess the SEC ruling on ETFs is a world event. It is going to be a world event. It is, I guess. XRP is a really interesting one. I mean, guys, XRP is these are the central bankers. These are the guys that are working with the banks. I mean, they've been touting XRP and Ripple to be this token that's going to run the central banks from the beginning. They were even selling the coins right on the site, which they paid some small or large, depending on how you look at it, fines for doing that way back in the day. In the early days, they gave away tens of thousands, I mean millions, billions of coins. I had a lot of coins. I lost them. That's how crypto goes, right? You lose. I had a ton of XRP. I don't know where it is. I can't find it. I don't know. At $2, I was like looking at everything I ever had. And where are these coins? But anyway, I think that it's going to go. I think that it'll hit $3. It's one of those ones. It likes to lag, right? It likes to lags, and then boom. And then it's actually, and you could actually touch base on this a little bit more as well. But the way they pump and then they sell. So they do the big pump straight up, and then they kind of like sell down, and then it kind of goes and goes and goes until they're ready, and then put your seatbelt on, rock it again, and then or down, I guess. But
can't believe you lost your tokens, Bruce. That's shocking.
Oh, come on. I've been in so long. I lost a bunch of Bitcoin. I lost everything, man. I mean, not everything, but I mean, over the years, you lose stuff.
I think we've all done it, but you get more and more sensitive about, making sure you've secured your wallet properly, keep your seed phrases safe and all that kind of stuff. So that's all sensible advice. I mean, we've all made those mistakes in the early days, I guess. But I don't think we'll make them again, because if you work out what that actually cost you, you'd probably be in a very different position. I'm sure you're doing fine, but you'd probably be very fine if you kept on hold of your XRP and your Bitcoin and whatever. But you're right. XRP is one of those tokens that, I mean, I've been caught out a few times in the past where you're holding on to it. You've actually made a nice little profit. I did it when it was right down at 6 cents, I think it was. I think I bought into it at 4 cents. Got to 6 cents. And it held around 6 cents for such and such a long time. And I thought, well, I made 50% on my money. I'll just take the profit. I'm getting bored of this. It's not going anywhere. The moment you take your profit, it absolutely rockets. And that's happened a few times. XRP is one of those tokens.
I think they're using artificial intelligence, don't you? I mean, it's like they wait until it's like everybody on a consensus decides this is doing nothing. They're just it's not doing anything. They're not going to do anything, and then they sell. I firmly believe that they use XRP, or they just really, I don't know, they're in with the whatever, and people sell and then they do it, or they buy and then it dumps. They're like professionals. That coin is the most professionally traded coin I've ever seen. Although Solana with this pump over this last bit is just unbelievable.
XRP was interesting though. Back when we got the SEC ruling, you know, the court case about being a security token, few months back now. That was really interesting. It actually rose to, there's a real spike in price, and it rose actually to, again, a Fibonacci retracement from a previous high, and it is absolutely precise. So some people, and I was actually one of them, sold just near the top and rode it down, you know, quite a bit, not all the way because it came down quite a lot. But that's really interesting because I've actually been looking out for, you've probably heard the phrase, buy the rumor, sell the news. And I'm just wondering whether that might happen on January the 10th if we get this SEC ruling on ETFs, because everybody is buying up into crypto right now. We're seeing the prices pump pretty nicely, and it could be another case of buy the rumor, sell the news. I've seen it so many times in finance.
Me too. And this is exactly what I have been thinking as well. And, you know, it's so how do people plan for that? I mean, so, you know, because guys, this is like, you know, it's just like anything, like a new coin or something, and they're going to do a big exchange listing. And it's like, oh, we're getting on this huge exchange, everybody's buying, and nobody's selling because they want to wait for the new exchange. And so the price is going up. You get on the new exchange, and then boom, it goes down and not up. This is a classic example of buy the rumor, sell the news.
Yeah, and it's actually quite interesting. Again, you know, I'm from a technical perspective, so I've done all the academic research, and so I'm behind this. And you often find that that final pump is actually a fifth wave in Elliott wave. And a fifth wave is typically known that there's no volume behind it. So what you see is the third wave is the big wave where you get the real big rise in price. That's where all the institutions or the big boys, the whales in crypto, are making their money. They're the ones in that market. And that's why the volume is heavy on a wave 3, driving the price higher. You then get a wave 4 pullback where they've actually taken the profit. So the big boys, the whales, taking the profits. But then the retailers are still thinking the price is going to go higher, and they actually then trade that fifth wave higher. But because it's just the small retail buyers, there's no volume there. And then you see what's called divergence between, you can use, for example, RSI, if you look at your technical indicators, RSI against price, and you see lower peaks in RSI with a higher peak in price. So the price is still pushing higher, but on very low volume. And that's a sign that the market is about to dump. And that's often what happens with this pump and dump scenario. I mean, you mentioned exchanges, they've actually been quite guilty. I think even Binance, were guilty because they actually will often pump prices when a token is listing on their exchange. But they actually, when you list on a lot of these exchanges, the token that's listing gives the exchange a big chunk of their tokens as the price to get on the exchange effectively. So the exchange is holding a big chunk of tokens. They see the price pump because they're actually marketing to all of those retail buyers, traders, whatever, around the world. They really pump the price. And the exchange knows exactly, because they've got the inside information, as we were talking about yesterday. They know where the trades are, and they know exactly when to dump the price. So they know exactly when to offload their holding and take the biggest profit possible. And then the poor old retailers are left holding the bag, as per usual.
It's like the usual. I know, and I think it actually got worse. I feel like over the years, obviously, as information became more readily available. But yeah, you know, guys, these exchanges, they see the deposits and they see the withdrawals, and you know, if a whole bunch of a certain coin is coming in, well, it's not coming in there to do something else. Okay, it's coming in there to sell, or if they're offloading, then, well, you know that probably the price is going to go up. And then, of course, we have the on-chain analysis as well, the big whales moving things back and forth. But it's pretty interesting. You know, these it is still an unregulated. Most of these exchanges are many of the exchanges are still unregulated. And I don't know how they're working it now, but even if you're, you know, they'll have a team of, I know for sure, and you know, full disclosure, CZ and I have done a couple, or we've done a deal, I should say, together. But I know Binance in particular, but I'm sure they all do. They have, you know, hundreds of different traders that are trading, you for or however you want to look at it, and they might have more information than you do. So you got to be careful out there.
Yeah, I mean, effectively, they're trading against you. So you are trading against the house. So if you're talking, it is effectively, I mean, it's not gambling because there is actually a lot of science behind it. Although actually there can be science behind gambling. I know of professional gamblers who make money consistently.
Yes.
And you can make money consistently using risk reward. Everything, there's no certainties in trading. There's no certainties in life. But if you understand risk reward and probabilities, then you can make money out of a market. So yeah, that you're trading against the house, and you need, as I said yesterday, you need to trade differently to the crowd, because the crowd are the majority that actually lose money. So 95%, or approximately 95%, I don't know the exact figure, it changes, but around that amount of retailers lose money. So there is a way to make money, and you have to learn to trade differently to the crowd, because the institutions are trading against the crowd. As I said, they can see your hand, they know what you're doing, and that's how they make the big money. They're the ones who make the real money. And even the fund managers, they're not the ones who make the money, because fund managers have been proven they do not make money. And Warren Buffett won this multi-million bet, didn't he? Saying that the fund managers couldn't outperform the market over, I'm not sure what the time period was, it may have been as much as 10 years. But he had some bets on that fund managers could not outperform the market, and they can't, because we're bound by academic theory, etc. But the people who can are the people who have inside information, and that is the market makers and the whales, etc. They have the information, the power to move the markets.
That is really interesting. Go ahead.
It's great to see them accumulate a coin and then give you access to it on their exchange when they're ready.
Yes. That was one of the things, with global boost that we are always, I mean, we're a community coin anyway, like every coin's been mined, since the beginning, and, all that stuff. But they would always say, okay, if you're talking to exchange, we want, a whole bunch of the coins or something. And we would say, well, we're a community coin. We don't do that. But that is one of the big plays. That's how they make their money. Pretty interesting stuff. So now you have, with your AI tools, how are there certain tools? A couple of things. Number one, I feel like, what are some AI tools? But then, to further that question, where do people see this data? Like, where can they see what everybody's doing? Like, are there certain places that people can go and see where people's stop losses are, and, where most people are long or short and stuff like that?
I mean, you can just look at an order book. So you can just go onto an exchange and look at the order book. So you can look at the Binance order book and you can see all the buys and sells above and below. But there's only a certain level of information they've got. You can't usually see, there's a lot of information still hidden that's actually only privy to the actual institution behind it, or the market maker, the exchange, whoever it might be. But we can see some information just by looking at the order book. So if you look at an order book, you can see the buys and the sell orders above and below the current price. And then you can look at, it actually tells you a bit about the liquidity. So you need to know whether a token has liquidity, because if you're trading a big volume on a token without real liquidity, you're going to have problems getting out. And that's where the order book becomes really important. So this, particularly with crypto, you mentioned that, it's tiny, actually, the market cap, really, compared with, you mentioned NASDAQ, and you talk about other more mature asset classes. Crypto is still tiny, but that's where we talked the other day about the, Bitcoin going from 0 to 69,000 was just the retail adoption phase. And we've had the big pullback. And now we're potentially going to enter the institutional adoption phase. So whilst I said we're talking about, potentially a pullback with this buy the rumor, sell the news, maybe with January 10 with ETFs, I think longer term, it is still very, very positive if these ETFs are regulated and authorized, and, the institutions can pile in, because basically the market cap is just way too small. You haven't got liquidity to trade anything, more than, Bitcoin, Ethereum, maybe BNB. I know Solana's right up there now. I think Solana took the number 4 spot, didn't it, yesterday? in terms of market cap. So there's just the handful at the top with a big market cap. Anything below that, the institutions can't trade them because there's just no liquidity, and they impact the price too much when they move in and out of a token. But that could change once they get these ETFs in place.
Well, exactly right. And that's, most people, it's like I always say, look, guys, my wife is never going to send some Bitcoin or something to this address, or some Global Boost for that matter, or Litecoin, or any of them, Solana. She's not, my wife is never going to take this digital stuff and send it to this long address. And so the institutions coming in, they're going to make it easy for everybody. And they're going to be able to, people are going to be able to participate and not even know that they're participating. They're going to have it in their 401k. They're going to, and there's some of that already a little bit, but this is going to bring it in on a much larger scale. And that's why you see, one of the reasons why you see the price of Bitcoin and these digital assets go so high, especially Bitcoin. Because remember, Bitcoin is uncensorable at this point. It's unstoppable. They tried to stop it for quite a while, and they kind of gave up and just decided, okay, we're going to make this so expensive so that there's not much of it going around that people can get their hands on. And so you want to be careful out there. You want to go ahead. I mean, it's not smart. It is smart to make your money on certain things. Solana obviously has a lot of money behind it. Some of the other ones as well. Make your money on them and get out and get back into assets that are that can't be inflated so much. I mean, what we saw with Solana before was, I mean, they froze by, I mean, I don't know but they are accused of, I should say, it appears that they were freezing the blockchain in order to stop certain transactions and push through other transactions during the whole FTX mess. And so when you have something like that people are able to do that for you, again, it's seizable, it's freezable, it's, all of these types of things. But yeah, I guess FTX coming back, and we're going to pump. I agree. We may have a little bit of pullback, but overall, we're going to keep going. The halving for Bitcoin and Global Boost happens right around April. So you were going to go from an even smaller supply of what they're putting out in these assets. And remember, I mean, there's only, 1 million or something or less Bitcoins more that are out there. So make sure that you want to make sure that you're participating, that you have some exposure to these things, and that's what we always say. And Matt, it's always a pleasure to have you on and to bring your insight. So Christmas morning.
Just finally, Bruce, you just mentioned about halving, and I'm not sure whether all your audience know exactly what this halving is about, but the halving is about basically the rewards that miners get for mining the token, whether it be Global Boost, whether it be Bitcoin. So Bitcoin started, the reward for mining a block of Bitcoin was 50 BTC when it first started, and that halves approximately every 4 years. It's about, I think it's every, if I remember rightly, every 210,000 blocks.
About every 4.5 years, yeah.
Yeah, so it works out, there's not an exact period of time. It's actually based on a number of blocks.
Yep.
But that halved from 50 to 12.5 to currently 6.25, and it's going to halve again. So that means the reward for mining will halve. That means the number of new Bitcoins. So there is still a small amount of Bitcoin inflation, because the most there will ever be in existence is 21 million. And that is by around the year 2140, the last Bitcoin will be mined. So up until that time, the halving will keep taking place. And it means there's less and less inflation. But the inflation is the 21 million is the maximum. So it's not like fiat, it's not like the US dollar, where they can just print ad infinitum. There are limits on it, but we're almost, as Bruce said, I think there's only 1 million left to be mined, and that's in the next 120 years or so. So there's virtually no more left to be mined. And in fact, as you said earlier on about losing your Bitcoin, this actually means there's deflation, because you're not the only person who's lost their Bitcoin. Lots of people lost their wallet keys, and they're just completely gone. So it's that means there's actual, in reality, deflation, even though there's a very small amount of inflation because of new mining taking place. Overall, there is Bitcoin deflation because of idiots like Bruce losing their coins.
Well, you gotta learn. Sometimes you learn the hard way. I mean, how do you think I learned that you had to get your seed phrase and all that stuff? You have some old hard drive and that thing gets locked up. You can't ever get it out or whatever it is, or it's encrypted, and then you can't ever. It crashes and it's encrypted, and then you're really screwed, right? I mean, if it crashes, it's one thing, you can get it back, but it crashes and it's encrypted, it's a whole other thing. And then you learn, well, shoot, man, I better get my seed phrase out, and I better know how this stuff is really going. So
anyway, fun. It's been fun again, guys. Thank you for having me. Enjoy the rest of the show. And again, I'll head off to another event I've got now. But yeah, thanks again. Hopefully look forward to tomorrow. Have another great chat then.
It'll be Monday. Tomorrow's Saturday, right? Tomorrow's Saturday.
Oh, fantastic. So I've got 2 days left. Amazing.
We get the weekends off. So we'll be
I'll still be working. I work every day. This is crypto. Crypto is 24/7.
It's true. I committed to Monday through Friday, so we had the weekends off. We could go out and have some drinks and stuff. Very early for me. I know for you guys, it's easy. For you guys, it's easy. For me, it's very early. But always a pleasure, Matt. Thanks so much for coming on. And eBay.io, check out the platform, Matt's platform. He's at MD Trade on X. Give him a follow. Thanks, sir.
Yeah, there'll be a market watch out today, so give everyone an update on the market. So that'll be coming out this evening. So yeah, thanks for listening. Catch up Monday. Have a great weekend, and bye for now.
Cheers.
Fantastic. Cheers. All right. Matthew,
so then it was us.
That FA is awesome.
I know. Well, it's cool to have Matt. He knows so much, and he's been trading for so long that it's just it's always cool to have him on there. So a couple of things. We were going to have Drunken Monkey join us today, and they messaged me, and they're going to move it a little bit to next week. Drunken Monkey is an NFT project. So we wanted to have the NFT projects. The NFTs are pretty interesting. You can imagine an NFT is basically like an app, okay? Or I would say the reason I say it's basically like an app is because you can fit as much technology that you have like in an app on your phone, you can fit in an NFT. And so that ability to have that much technology in an NFT was revolutionary back when it started. Now, we had this huge run up of the prices, which I'm going to touch on why I think a lot of that happened. And then we had, of course, the subsequent crash. When the markets went down, the NFTs really crashed. I mean, they went down to basically zero, right? As we always joke around, it's going to zero. It's going to zero. Well, the NFTs, a lot of NFTs went to zero, pretty much. I mean, they're basically worthless. But a lot of art, a lot of technology, and the NFT is it's a way that we can there's a lot of authentication and everything that goes in there. So people say the NFTs are dead. The NFTs are definitely not dead. And if you want any more to understand that is absolutely correct, look at what it did to Bitcoin. Bitcoin was at the bottom of this run right around 17K or whatnot when they introduced the Taproot update, and that Taproot update enabled ordinal NFTs on Bitcoin, and that price of Bitcoin has subsequently rocketed from there. So pretty interesting. We also enabled the Taproot update on Global Boost, and so we are working on the ordinals wallet now, and we should be releasing that soon. I'm pretty excited about it, David.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have super low fees. Unlike what you saw, what it did for the transaction fees on a lot of the Bitcoin wallets is pretty insane. So it boosted the mining market, and it did do a lot as we were down there towards the bottom price of Bitcoin. And then that was a really big boost for them. So we're able to do these now on our ordinals chain with the Global Boost chain. And it's pretty stoked about it. And you see how the art industry is so involved with blockchain and how much they're able to utilize it. They're one of the first groups that saw the potential. And also you have the gamers. Of course, this is they're already utilizing it, and it's huge in the gaming industry. So we're pretty excited to have these NFTs going.
It really is very exciting, and I think it's going to do a lot for the global loose chain, just like it has for everybody else. And the one thing I was going to say about the pumping of the prices as well is when you have NFTs on your chain, you want to support those artists that are producing on your chain. And so I think what you see a lot of this the Solana pump as well, and a lot of even the Ethereum and everything like that. You have these guys that are long on these coins that are buying the NFTs. Maybe they wouldn't normally buy the NFTs, but hey, they're long on this coin. They're buying that NFT, they're buying this artwork, and that is in turn advertising the chain and pushing the price up. And so you have a whole ecosystem there that's happening. And so that's something we're really excited about. So we are planning on doing our next Washington Elite AI Summit in New York City. What are your thoughts on that, Dave?
Sounds like a great moment for it. The NFT NYC is pretty much the biggest conference, as big as you can get. And the NFT artists that host events are pretty cool crowd. They have some great meetups, but they also have some great parties. Super eclectic group there, forward-thinking thought leaders, and extremely talented. So having the conference in New York City during NFT NYC and having a Washington Elite event, this is a great avenue for us and for you as well. Everybody should be there, and it's going to be extremely beneficial.
It is. And, NFT Jody, Rich, and the team, I mean, these guys kill it. I mean, they have it down. They have it down. Not sure exactly what the venue is going to be again. I really love it when it's in Times Square. Of course, David and I really love being on the Times Square billboard. I mean, once you're on a billboard, guys, I mean, you just can't go back. I mean, hey, that was like one of the highlights of my career.
Yes. Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Timeless moments.
It was timeless moments. And of course, we were able to bring all our clients and put them up there as well. And speaking of clients, guys, we're doing the show Monday through Friday, every morning, local in Texas on TV, as well as broadcast live to total audience is over 4 million. And so we have a lot of opportunity here. If you want to get involved in the gala or in the summit that we're doing in New York City, let us know. Everybody, in my opinion, I think I'm supposed to say it's not financial advice. You should be getting some global boost. You should be getting some of these assets that are not seizable, not freezable, and that you can really, really own. Ownership is really something else. And you can own Global Boost, you can own Bitcoin, you can own Litecoin. And Global Boost right now at the current price that it's at, it's at 5 or 10. It's between 5 and 10 cents right in there, and it's going to go more. It has gone, I should say, up to $1, up to $2. What we're doing now is the tech behind the scene that we're working on and that we're slowly teasing out there is unbelievable. I mean, how would you guys like to have communications that is private?
This is ideal, and I call it an entrepreneurial's dream because it really opens up your avenues to what you can do, and you don't have to set such extreme limits or harsh guidelines on it. As long as you can kind of govern or manage your own enterprise there.
Private communication. I mean, it's something that has become foreign to us, right? It's like foreign, like private communication. We've like gotten used to the fact that everything's being recorded. We have these massive government installations where they're storing everything, and of course they're running AI and everything through there. They believe that they know what you're going to do before you do it.
Yeah, this is manipulation at its finest, and it's a form of control over you that separates your free will from what you're able to do. So free will is what it's all about.
Right? How much is private communications worth to you? Because that's what we're building. We're actually
and your loved ones.
Built. and your loved ones. Right? And I tell you what, I love this phone. I love the technology. But anything that's in the App Store, you have to just believe has a backdoor. Otherwise, it wouldn't be in the App Store, guys. That's the way it works. That's the world that we live in. If it's in the App Store, it probably has a backdoor. So craziness. I want to play a short clip, and then we'll pick up from there. I joined my friend, and you'll notice I freeze a little bit, but it's at good moments, and you can see him moving. So don't worry about that. But you can hear me the whole time. Just a short, it's 2 minutes. I talk about who's printing the money. I talk about who is printing the money, and why we're having trouble having any control over our government, and why the money is so important. So it's a real short clip. I'm going to play it here, put my screen, and then we're going to talk about it. Let's see here.
Sounds like a plan.
Yes, sir.
Important that everybody understands that listen, guys, we are in a monetary revolution. We have been in a monetary revolution for over a decade. I thought I coined the phrase, but apparently it was my good friend Nick Spanos. I said it a few times on stage, and there was another Nick Spanos, and so maybe I heard it from him. But we need to take the power back from these people, and it's important that everybody understands that the Federal Reserve and the central banks, the people that print the money, is not the government. The government's not printing the money. Private people, private families are printing the money. And that's the problem, guys. You wonder why you can't change anything in Congress. You wonder why they don't work for you. You wonder why whatever you vote, however you vote, nothing happens. Well, the reason is because they don't work for you. We have a charade of a government. We have an illusion of a government. We have an illusion of choice. And in fact, we're owned basically by the central bank, the people that print the money. And it's a crazy situation. And the monetary revolution is a peaceful revolution. I've been preaching it for years on stages around the world. The monetary revolution. That's how we take the money. That's how we take the power back from these people. We get out from using their money. And I understand you got to pay the mortgage, you got to pay this, you got to pay that. So fine, then do that. And then put the rest of the money in gold, in silver, in Bitcoin, in global, in Litecoin, in assets that aren't going to go anywhere. They can't inflate. They can't inflate them. And the thing about Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Global Boost as well is you can set up your coins. You can remember your seed phrase, eight words, right? Put it to a song so you remember it. Don't forget it, okay? But there's no hardware. There's no code on your computer. There's no file. There's no nothing. There's nothing to see. There's nothing to take. So you could be thrown away.
So super interesting. And I know it's a lot of people it's foreign, right? People don't understand when I say there's nothing to take, there's nothing to seize. They could throw you away for 20 years. You get out, remember your seed phrase, find your way over to the internet, and get your stuff out. And basically all it is information. Calling Bitcoin, calling Global Boost, calling Litecoin, and some of these other proof of work, blockchain, digital assets that they're not able to freeze or inflate or anything like that. Calling them money is actually the wrong. They're not really money. It's something new. It's something new. It's something that the world has never seen before. And that's what crypto is. And it's something that we've already had this major run up. But again, guys, the total market cap of crypto is still very, very low. So probably going to want some exposure to Bitcoin. You're probably going to want some exposure to some of these other ones, but maybe you don't go all in on those. You want to play on some of the smaller ones. Obviously, we have Global Boost, which is an amazing technology. We're the first of its kind for a number of different reasons. Okay, actually, let's look at I'm going to pull up our site as well here, and let's take a look at that while I'm talking about it. We were the first coin to use YesScript as a hashing algorithm, and let's see here, and we're still CPU friendly. So I will be with my family, some of my other family, on for Christmas, and we're gonna talk more about mining. But you see here what we're doing. Free speech unifies our strength. So we're doing a show like this, really getting the word out, pushing these things forward. What is Social Hash? The future of our global impact blockchain will utilize social engagement for block mining and monitoring the network. Our BSTY media coin, we call it Boosty, the media coin. Okay, and you can get this easily. You can get this easily by mining it. You can also go to some of the exchanges. You can see here, Probit is a good exchange. Okay, and we will get more GraviX. I mean, all of these that we have on here are reputable exchanges. They're good exchanges. We have our Coinomics that are right here. This is public information. Our Coinomics, our max coins is 30 million coins. There's about 22 million coins that are out there right now. Okay, we have again on the in April. Okay, of course we have our different explorers, but really what Bitcoin has done for crypto or for money, even though I say it's not money, Global Boost is also now doing for media. We're decentralizing the media, where it's stored, where the history is stored, where the information is stored. Also bringing through communications, decentralized communications. Okay, that's private, that isn't controlled by these people. And of course, we have our live feed on here. As you see, decentralized media network. We're decentralized, but we are growing by leaps and bounds. And it's over a 10-year-old company, but we have a 10-year-old chain, and we're doing a lot of really exciting stuff. So make sure you check that out. That's Global Boost. That's Global Boost with a dot between the O and the ST. And we'll be, I keep talking about the private communications, encrypted communications, but this is huge. It's huge. Guys, one thing that's really important in times that we have right now is, of course, you need to be able to access money, right? We don't know what's going to happen. You need cash, you need digital currencies, you need precious metals. But you also need to be able to communicate with each other, and you need to be able to find each other. And that is one of the most important things. And I love X just as much as or maybe even more of the next guys. And this platform, if we lose it, if it goes down, a lot of us, we don't find each other, and we don't know how to communicate with each other. So that's a really important part about this, is that we know what is happening, and we know who each other are, and how we can really benefit from it. So we have, of course, this is our first week. We're pretty excited about it. Finance in the mornings. We're going to continue to bring a lot more different people on. We're going to talk about different different things. Open up some communications. People will be able to call in, and we'll answer some more questions. But we're super excited about it. Make sure David Porter is at Sir David Porter on X. Of course, I'm at Networks Manager on X. Make sure to follow us there. So, David, for 2024, we're going into 2024, right? We're getting to that point. What are your predictions? How do you think 2024 is going to unroll?
It's going to unroll with a lot of peace. We're going to be able to work out a lot of these problems, opening up the communication between our different cultures and our different beliefs of how societies should go. And I think 2024 will bring about openness towards most of the people. And we're really going to be able to thrive in 2024. So I'm looking forward to it. There's amazing things going on in the Bitcoin space. So I'm super pumped. 2024 looking good for 99% of the world.
Right. Oh, it is a crazy world, right? Really interesting as well what we have going on in Argentina, right? With the central bank. So it's closing the central banks. The central bank is really how they're controlling most of these countries. And so that if that becomes a trend, if Bitcoin, remember, we're in a monetary revolution, folks. And if Bitcoin and digital assets really take off and people start using them and take the power back from these people, then that is, that's how we do it peacefully. And that's going to be pretty interesting. It's crazy what's going on over there. I saw he said executive order. He dropped like 300 and something different. It was almost like Elon shutting down or firing all those people. He closed or defunded a bunch of different places. So I think for 2024, I think it's going to be a good year as far as commodities and finance. I think, of course, it's an election year here in the U.S. So, these guys, they have to make sure it's an election year. So I believe the markets, even if we have some chop, like we were talking about, we may have some pullback, buy the rumor, sell the news type of thing with these ETFs. Maybe we may, or we may not. But overall, the markets have to go up. Inflation has to go down. And that's just the way it is. Otherwise, you don't win elections. You win elections during economic times. So gas prices should be down. Inflation should start to go down. Of course, they pumped it up so high. Down is a relative term from here. And the markets should go up. And so these are confusing times. We understand that. And we want to be here. That's why we're here every morning. We don't know everything. But of course, we've been at it for a long time. So we want to share what we have and also bring on different guests that can also help and do that. And you can let us know. Make sure to follow us on the different places. We're always live, of course, on Smart Money Culture TV, Impact.live and Impact.live. We have a lot coming on with Impact too. Really excited about that whole ecosystem that we're still continuing to build out there. I know in New York City, the Rust Tuesdays is absolutely taking off. I'm really looking forward to getting, plugging into that. Because New York in general is just really taking off. I mean, Sander Habsburg, he's a good friend of ours. He always said, what you do is you break it down first, and I mean, not that it's a good thing, but you break it down first, and then you rebuild it, and that's kind of what they did to New York. I mean, it's like kind of broken. They broke it. They broke New York.
Yeah, last fall or last winter, New York streets were just unbelievably disgusting. I mean, people falling over. There's spiky things you don't want to step on. Like it was zombie land, and I can't believe they let that happen in the middle of the city.
Yeah, it's so true. But then of course, then you rebuild it. So it's probably still breaking a bit, to be honest, but they're already starting to do the rebuild. Yeah, actually, you touch on that. So I was up in New York a couple of weeks ago, and one of our friends and colleagues, Randy Shores, he took us in, and we went into the old Limelight. And, I'm like, I remember going to the Limelight, man. The Limelight was like the cool place. That was like the cool spot. It was a church that they had turned into a club. and they used to throw huge parties in there. And so I was like, 18, 19, 20 years old, driving in from Connecticut to New York. I lived in New York there for a while as well, and going to the Limelight, and it was really nostalgic going in there. Really crazy times.
Nice.
But yeah, they're going to continue to rebuild New York, and of course, that used to be the financial center of the world. It never really recovered after the Twin Tower attacks, to be completely frank. But they're rebuilding.
They're calling Palm Beach the Wall Street of the South. So as they're building New York back up, Palm Beach is really going to have a big influx of finance down there.
Palm Beach, huh?
Yeah, they're coining it.
I'll have to go down and check it out. Palm Beach, our old stomping grounds. A lot of good times down there. Miami, Palm Beach, these areas, guys, they're really exploding as well. You're going to see a lot of growth. A lot of growth. There's going to be a lot of growth. The inflation, though, they're going to continue. Even if the inflation goes down a bit, the level of inflation, also realize that the Fed, which again is a private bank. This is a private bank run by private families, okay, and they decide how much inflation is that we're supposed to have, right? And they print up whatever they want, per se, and they've decided a 2% inflation rate is what the people will accept, and so we're always going to have at least a 2%. It's actually much more than that. They just kind of fluff it up and they hide it and everything else. So. If you want to be smart about it and you want to get your money into certain things, I think oil as well is going to be play out well. Although again, it is an election year, so they're going to keep the price of gas down. But then after that, I think it's going to go way up. But commodities like Bitcoin, like gold, like silver, like Global Boost, like Litecoin, I feel like these are going to go up, of course. And you see the other assets. Be careful with the other assets, guys. Again, be careful with them. They can be frozen, seized, all these types of things. Ethereum, Solana, XRP. They're great to have. They're great to use. They're great to make money on. But be careful with those. And if you're, another part about this is, you can make smaller plays with these coins. But if you really want to make a bigger play, if you're looking at, where do I put $1 million, or where do I put 2 million or 5 million or a couple $100,000 or $250,000, and that's something that you're interested in doing, then I want you to go over to our sites, to Global Boost, globalboo.st, and drop us a line there. Let's talk. Go to Smart Money Culture TV, smartmoneyculture.tv. Drop your thing in there, and let's put something together that makes sense for you. Now, if you have $200,000 and you want to put up $200,000, and that's not gonna fly. But if you have much more than that, and you want to put up a piece of it, and you want to buy in or get in, as they should say, then that's something that interests you. I think that is could be a very, very good situation for everybody. So make sure, guys, every morning, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 a.m. in Texas, live on TV, 11 a.m. in London, 3 p.m. in Dubai. David Porter, Bruce Porter Jr. We have Matt Dixon also joining us every day. I'm signing off, David. Happy weekend, bro.
Thank you, Bruce. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Your voice is powerful. When combined with social engagement, it's a force for change. Decentralized media paired with free speech is the catalyst for an empowered world and a unified, invaluable ecosystem. Join Global Boost, become a champion of free speech, and help to reshape the future of media.